At first I was just gonna look away and continue on the direction that this channel was built to be directed in, after making a series of videos of KijaniAmariak, of Love Letters from Yahweh. And these are 4 video series where, yes, and also this lady and this person here, they all believe they are Elijah or one of the 2 witnesses. And I explained in deep in many videos that the 2 witnesses theology that was already created is wrong. It's a deception in itself. It's a stumbling block for Israel, so that the true witnesses won't witness or receive the power of God, because they're expecting 2 individuals to reincarnate or incarnate. I have explained very quickly that the 2 witnesses is a reference, not for 2 individuals, but a reference, a symbolic reference for the saints who keep the commandments of God that came through Moses, and the faithfulness of Yeshua the Messiah. So the true servants, which are not, which have as a head the Messiah, not men for leaders. Anyway, in these videos, I uncovered that in his channel he has a lot of Satanism, and he was claiming that he was going to be transfigured like Enoch, receiving kingly powers, and come back as Elijah in Jerusalem and mock the beast kingdom throughout the Great Tribulation. And it's interesting how, as it relates to Elijah, who confronted a woman Jezebel, actually fled from Jezebel, but confronted her prophets. But as there's a relation with Jezebel, that she serves the deep things of Satan, and that's how she beguiles the servants of God. And that the deep things of Satan is Satanism. As you can see here, or in his YouTube channel, this is the website, Satanism in Hip Hop, or Satanism and this and that. And for all of you who watch his videos, you know that he's interpreting the times and the current events through occult knowledge and Satanism. And through this is serving people platters of food sacrificed to idols, all in the name of God. And there's a new development now that he believes he's the Archangel Michael. And let me just show you this. He shows this thing here, this liquor, which I believe he is himself spiritually intoxicated, if not physically intoxicated. And he uses that to claim that the sorcery used to bind the archangel. Get this. When has there ever been a mention of binding an archangel? So he says, I am the archangel, the first angel created and given power over all the other angels and demons. So now, so first he started with the idea that he's Elijah, and he's going to have power over the beast kingdom, and all the people of God will have to follow him, so that he can restore things and make, deliver people. And now he's claiming he's above that now, right? That wasn't enough. So now he's above that. And now he was the first angel ever created, given power over all the angels and demons. He says, I am the angel of the Lord. Get that? Whom God speaks through. Right? Because it's not enough to be Elijah anymore. It says, unfortunately, right? Look at this excuse. Unfortunately, I do not presently have any memory. How convenient, right? of my previous existence, or because of the treacherous actions of the fallen angels, to bind and subdue me, but I am freed from the bonds I was put in by the grace of God, and it is all coming back to me slowly. You know what? I don't think that. You know what? I almost think that it's impossible to top this delusion. Now he says the scriptures even allude to this. Okay, so let's see what Daniel 8 from verse 10 to 11 alludes to. And it waxed great, right? And even to the host of heaven. And he's putting here angels of heaven. And it cast down some of the host of the stars, right? The Messiah's brothers, illustrious princes, right? To the ground, and stamped upon them. Yeah, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Okay, so now let's continue. The word prince is chief leader. The word host is angels of war. The word magnified is gadal, and it means to become great or powerful and to wrestle against and immobilize one's opponent. So, immobilize, to bind and stupefy, to dull the senses and faculties, to mystify, to confuse mentally, to bewitch, to cast a spell over and bind under a spell. And I believe that this is exactly what Kijani is under, all these things. But not in the way that he believes. The prince of the hosts is the archangel and the angel of the Lord. This is supported by Joshua. And then he has that scripture. It's unbelievable how people will take scriptures and because of their self-righteousness, they get into delusion, and they take these scriptures and they wrap around them like clothing. See the word captain, prince, and chief leader. Unbelievable. So the angel of the Lord was immobilized and bound for a time by the fallen through sorcery. He goes, Yah has revealed to me through several different messages recently that at some point in time, about 100 years ago, while I was in a physical body, walking upon the earth in human form, I was given absinthe by a traitor. Look at a disloyal turncoat and collaborator, a Judas. Mind you, when I received this message, I had no idea what absinthe was, so I did some research, obviously in Google, not, because, I guess God wouldn't reveal that. God wouldn't reveal to him what that was. He says that God has revealed different messages, but he had to Google search absinthe, and I found out that absinthe is called the devil's drink. So, here's just, if you watch all of his videos, he's using a lot of wordplay and connections and similarities from the Bible to the occult, and from pretty much everything he can come across. And at the end, he's using this compilation of research to put himself in a higher and higher and higher spotlight. He goes, it is also called wormwood, and it is used by witches and sorcerers. Wow. Unbelievable. Now comes the threat now. Taken from a message entitled The Avenging Angel Reborn, Genuine and True like God. Like God. They shall be stricken with fear and terror, exceedingly frightened and terrified, sore afraid, and put into fear when you exit out of the body. Anise, the aromatic oil and medicinal herb, was used to put you to sleep. Okay, so this is witchcraft here, right? Because occultism and Satanism, which is the deep things of Satan that he provides, is not enough. Absinthe or wormwood, the psychoactive drug, was used to cause your delusion, but when you deprave, you depart out to give place and be filled by God, it shall come forth from your body, and you shall be fierce and threatening in appearance as the Alpha and Omega. Unbelievable. Root out and search my progenitors and ancestors, for which I am descended out of. They are unspeakable and indescribable, but I will declare that they are all leaders, chiefs, and rulers with authority to lead, and through them I come forth from the Alpha and Omega. Though I was, you know what? This is just ridiculous. Look at now, a picture of Marilyn Manson to, you know what? I just, this just, it makes me want to throw up. I don't even want to keep reading this anymore. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Look at that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's who he thinks he is. And that's what he thinks is going to happen to. What is he smoking? Alright, you know what? This is just, it's ridiculous. But you know what? It's a perfect example of what happens nowadays. We are definitely in the end of times. And this testifies, alright, of what happens when there's a mixture of what is holy with what is clean. I mean, with what is unclean, and the end result is this, just filthiness. You know what? And anybody who follows this person is going to be led falsely into a false place. Unbelievable. You know, images to substantiate. Look at that. This is ridiculous. Fascinated by the all-seeing eye and the deep things of Satan. Unbelievable. This is just too much. Well, you know what? The scriptures, I'm just going to stop there. But you know what? The scriptures are not meant for us to take the scriptures and clothe ourselves with it in the way that it feeds self-righteousness. And you just remember, O covering cherub, how thou hast fallen. You know, the higher you think you are, the harder you're going to fall. It's just simple. And I mean, the scriptures are meant to serve as a protection for the people who want to get closer to God, as a guidance to find a direction, so that we can, you know, come back to principles that actually give us life, so that we can learn to discern between the good and the bad. And but this here, this is just ridiculous. This is just ego. This is just pure ego with an intoxication. He might as well be really drinking. He probably is drinking these things. Unbelievable. You know what? This is just shocking. And you know what? From here on, I'm not making any more videos concerning it. You know what? This is a complete and absolute waste of my time. With the exception of, please do not be led astray. We are definitely in the end of days. And these are the type of people that are going to spring out of the ground with, you know, gigantic ideas about themselves. And they're willing to twist scriptures in order to, you know, have people convinced that he is what he isn't. And it's a perfect reminder for us to stay grounded and stay sober for our prayers. And there's only one person to look up to. That's the Messiah. He's going to lead us to God.